So at this time, I'd like to recognize today's presenting sponsor, and that is Twin River Casino Hotel, led by our friend Mark Crisafulli, who we'll hear from in a moment. Twin River in Lincoln and Tiverton are Rhode Island's largest gaming and entertainment venues, as well as among our very top business attractions here in Rhode Island, and I think that we're all very aware of that. Gaming is one of the state's largest sources of revenue, bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars annually, much of it from Twin River, which also employs hundreds of Rhode Islanders. Mark serves as Executive Vice President of Government Relations and as President of Rhode Island Operations for Twin River Worldwide Holdings. He's also the President of Twin River Casino Hotel and Tiverton Casino Hotel, and is a member of the Board of Directors of the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce. So at this point, I would ask you to welcome Mark to the stage and to thank him for being today's presenting sponsor.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you for everything that you do for our community. It's so important. Speaker Mattiello, Senate President Ruggerio, and invited guests, welcome to the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce Annual Legislative Luncheon. This is the 9th time Twin River has sponsored this event. We do so because we firmly believe in the engagement of the business community with legislative leadership. Like you, I am very excited to hear what leadership has to say to us today. Since last year's lunch, Twin River has gone through a lot of change, so if you'll just bear with me for a minute, I just want to tell you a little bit about who we are now. We are now publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange under TRWH, Twin River Worldwide Holdings. We have over 5,000 employees nationally and over 2,500 employees in the state. We own and operate 7 casinos in 4 states, and we're in the process of acquiring 2 additional casinos early next quarter. But we are absolutely thrilled and delighted to call Rhode Island our home. Now, speaking of Rhode Island and Twin River, last year was a little interesting, right? It wasn't exactly what we expected, and we had a little more of a profile than we were looking for, but in the end, it led to what we think is a great proposed resolution. And that really would not have happened without the engagement of the Speaker of the House, Nicholas Mattiello, and without the personal assistance of Senate President Dominick Ruggerio, who brought IGT and Twin River together and literally forced us to sit in a room until we figured it out. It's a little uncomfortable at times, but it got us to where we needed to be for the state. Right? So 2 weeks ago, IGT and Twin River, in an unprecedented announcement on collaboration, shared a new proposal that we have for the state. Okay? We agreed to resolve our differences, join forces, and move the state forward. The proposed agreement is a much better deal for Rhode Island and for the Rhode Island taxpayers. It maintains the best parts of the original deal while addressing the most significant weaknesses and adding new investment and value creation. Importantly, the proposed agreement is a better outcome for Rhode Island than could have been achieved in a competitive bidding process. The focus was on creating a 3-way partnership between the state, IGT, and Twin River that would maximize our collective ability to compete with Massachusetts and Connecticut and to drive revenues. What emerged is a natural alignment where each company gets to do what it does best. IGT will provide all of the systems and a market-appropriate share of VLTs. Twin River will have a much greater voice in the selection and investment related to VLTs while improving its existing facility in Lincoln. And both IGT and Twin River will make significant investments to drive better economic development benefits for the state of Rhode Island. The proposed agreement is in no means perfect, but it effectively addresses all of the most important issues that surfaced during the legislative process last year. To provide you with a few highlights, I just want to touch on 2 of the most important elements, VLTs and economic development. From Twin River's perspective, the VLTs were the most important issue in the discussion. As Lori mentioned, lottery and gaming is the 3rd largest revenue source in the state of Rhode Island, and 80% of it, over $300 million a year, comes directly through the VLTs. The proposed agreement addresses the VLTs in a manner that we couldn't have hoped to have addressed otherwise. Essentially, IGT and Twin River got together to create a new company. IGT will own 60% of the company, Twin River will own 40%, and together we will figure out how it is that we ensure we have the best, most competitive slot floor in the region. There are a lot of other details related to this, but it's beyond the scope of our very brief conversation this morning. But now we can turn to what everyone really loves to talk about in this room, and that's economic development. This is a terrific economic development deal for the state of Rhode Island. IGT already had a strong proposal. They were prepared to invest $150 million and pay the state a $25 million license fee. But the heart of their proposal was the 1,100 high-paying jobs, which were at risk of leaving the state absent a deal. IGT has importantly agreed to keep those jobs. There was some discussion about the value of the guarantee, and so IGT's really stepped up and improved the guarantee so that the payroll will be 250% of minimum wage on average. That's 100 percentage points better than what they did last year. Now let's turn to Twin River. As Lori mentioned, Twin River in Lincoln is the #1 tourist attraction in the state. It's our flagship property. It generates over 5 million visitors annually. But we received some valuable feedback in this process, especially from the governor, but also from other state leaders, and that was that we needed to improve our property, that we needed to invest more. So we heard that loud and clear, and as part of this proposal, we're proposing to invest $100 million, including doing a major expansion and renovation of our property in Lincoln. If you can bear with me for just a minute, I want to just show you a little bit of it. So this is our current casino today. We actually have 190 acres in Lincoln. We're proposing to add a 40,000 square foot addition between the west and north entrance, and then we would add 10,000 square feet to the hotel, along with its own separate dedicated entrance. What that gives us is 40,000 square feet of additional gaming space and amenities in the big yellow block, and up top we would have a 14,000 square foot spa. Really exciting, gives us a much better ability to compete with Massachusetts. But one of the issues that came up consistently during the process last year was the challenge in our casino around the separation of smoking and non-smoking. So through the additions that we would make here and the erection of a hardline divider, we would now have a fully non-smoking casino in half of the facility. That we think that responds to people's desires. It was an important health issue for us, and it's something we wanted to try and address. But we didn't need more gaming space, we needed better gaming space. So what this does is once the construction is complete, it frees up the entire second floor area for additional amenities. And we're exploring putting bowling up there or an indoor golfing product, something along those lines to activate the space, to drive more value, and to create a better overall experience for our customers. This is what the property looks like today, and this is what it would look like after the expansion. So you can see in the middle of the screen is the 40,000 square foot expansion, and to the left is the new hotel spa. One more time, is the new hotel spa and the separate entrance. We're really excited about this transformation and what it can mean for Twin River and what it can do to drive our competitiveness and enhance the state's revenues. Remember, the state takes 60% of all of the VLT proceeds that come through the facility. While we're heavily investing in Lincoln, both IGT and Twin River are deeply committed to Providence. As part of this deal, IGT will remain in the IGT building on Memorial Boulevard for another 20 years. And Twin River Worldwide Holdings will invest in the I-195 redevelopment district for over 20 years by taking space in the Wexford Innovation Center and by providing financial support to the park near the pedestrian bridge. Our goal is to serve as a catalyst in this vitally important area and to join IGT in expanding economic activity in Providence. In total, Twin River will invest more than $100 million in Rhode Island, and that's on top of IGT's investment of another $150 million. $250 million of investment in Rhode Island is a staggering amount of investment and really drives tremendous value for all Rhode Islanders. We are confident that this approach brings out the best in each company and is the best way forward for the state. Our tagline says it all. Good jobs, great people, better deal. Legislation that spells out this proposed framework was introduced yesterday. In the House, it is Bill 7523, and it was introduced by Speaker Mattiello, Leader Shikarchi, Representative Edwards, Chairman Abney, and Representative Kennedy. In the Senate, it is Bill 2337, and it was introduced by President Ruggerio, Leader McCaffrey, Senator Goodwin, Chairman Conley, and Senator Lynch Prata. We look forward to the legislative process in both chambers, particularly the hearing process in Finance, Chairs Abney and Connolly. We had so much fun there in the fall. Looking forward to doing it again. Once again, I'd like to thank Senate President Ruggerio and Speaker Mattiello and your teams for encouraging IGT and Twin River to get together in a unique and highly effective manner to figure this out. And I'd like to thank Governor Raimondo and her team for their encouragement and their thoughtful consideration. Finally, I want to offer a sincere thanks to my colleagues at IGT. Some of them are here at table 55. I'm personally thrilled to be working so closely with you, and I'm excited about our partnership and our collective future here in Rhode Island. So thank you all, and I'd now like to turn it over to Lori so we can get to the main event.